That's right. Oracle has bought many Quebec companies, by the way. Yeah, they even have a business here.
My son-in-law works Oracle.
Oracle? So note that they bought Taleo for
Okay.
$1.9 billion a few years back. A company from Quebec City that creates programs to recruit employees and to motivate them to work. How about that? And Coveo is a Quebec City company that will replace probably one day Google. We'll keep you posted.
Corel.
Let you know.
OK，在这边呢有很多那些技术是就电脑程式那些商业在这边哈，它有些公司很有名，有一个 What was the name of
Taleo and Coveo.
Coveo 有一个牌子呢，可能迟早会代替这个 Google 这个
Really?
这个公司哈，所以他们的电脑是非常厉害。
So those companies bring back money to the city. It's very good. Second industry is you. Thank you.
第二个收入呢，就是来自我们哈，就是旅游业非常的发达在这边。
Quebec City receives an average of 5 million tourists every year.
每年500万的人口在这边旅游哈。
Yes, for a region that doesn't even count a million, we're about 800,000.
我们在这边的人口只有80万。
And the first industry, government employees. 45,000 government employees work in this region. The first employer is the state. They have a job until they retire and they have a pension. So when they go to the bank, they lend them the money.
OK， 45000名都是在政府工作，这边政府大部分人都在政府工作，他们的对他们的福利非常的好啊。
A city of research, of ITs, tourism, government. So you see that the economy is very diverse, and that permits us to be in a better position than other cities. And the unemployment rate is 4%.
OK， 他们因为这个管理非常好，在这里的政府部门，所以只有4%是没有工作的在这边。
So you're visiting a city also with a lot of history, the French history and British history. So we're a mix of both cultures.
在这城市很多的历史，有法式跟英式的历史哈。
Punctual like the British, but we drive like the French.
OK， 他们呢，法国人的脾气是不是那么好，不是很友好，加上他们开车也是不是那么友好哈。
We have breakfast like the British, but we have dinner like the French.
OK， 他们吃法式早餐，英式的晚餐哈，在这边。
So in our laws and our way to do things, we're a mix of both cultures, but note that in Quebec City, most of us have French origins. This is a French-speaking place.
OK， 在这边大部分人都是法国的，有法国的传统在这边，因为呢说法文的人都留在这个地方哈。
So everyone, let's cross the wall. We're going to get closer to... Since the beginning of the 20th century, this fortress has been used by a French-Canadian regiment called Le Royal 22e Régiment. In English, is known as the Vendus. And you can see the changing of the guard in the summer.
OK， 在这边呢哈，当时在20世纪的时候，英国人就在这边用这个城堡 ，OK， 想来抵御美国人，但是其实美国人呢才来进攻的一次。但是其实还没有打过仗，为什么呢？他现在说给你听哈。
The French will be the first ones to build a wall, and I'll tell you more about that period of our history when we continue. And afterwards, when we became the best of friends with the Americans, we didn't need the wall, but we still have it to remember our history, because already in the 19th century it was seen as Quebec's heritage. So we kept it. We just enlarged the gates, like one of the ones that we're going to cross together. But the gate that you see there is the only original gate of the city, 1838.
OK， 当年呢，在这边呢，我们可以看到是19世纪他们建了一个墙这样的，围绕着这个城市，因为怕人家打它哈，所以呢，这个墙的城市呢只有一个入口，最早的入口呢就在那里哈。
Cover the blood, that's right. You just won a trip to Sydney, Australia, everything paid. To cover the blood. So the soldiers would continue fighting without knowing they were hurt.
OK， 那为什么英国的士兵都穿红色的衣服呢？因为呢，他们受伤的时候看不到血。 所以呢，他们就会继续打仗。
OK
OK， 就是一种英勇的表现，穿红色的衣服。
The tall hats, so that the enemy would think they would be taller, and the enemy would shoot in the hat and not in the head. But that hat was French.
OK， 他们穿红色的制服，一个很高的帽子。为什么那么高的帽子？因为呢，让人家看起来比较高，害怕一点。加上人家射他的只射到帽子，射不到他的头哈。
An Englishman told me was to hide the sandwiches or the scotch, depending on the day. So you can see this regiment here with like at Buckingham Palace, red jacket, tall hats, and the orders are given in French. And there's a goat as a mascot. A goat as a mascot given by the Queen Elizabeth.
OK， 那些士兵就是穿红色衣服，戴着一个很大的帽子哈，然后他们也有一只羊 ，OK， 有一只羊呢是英女王给的那只羊哈，为什么会给只羊呢 ？Why is a goat?
It was that's a good question that you're asking. And I hope I will be able to answer. It was given to the royal family by the Persian Iran, and she transmitted that tradition to us. Is that what you have as an information?
I think they use the goat as very brave. The goat represent very brave. That's why.
Okay. Is that your
No,
astrological
that's
sign?
where I know inside.
But it is a Persian goat given by, if I'm not mistaken, I don't know if it's the Shah of Iran, but know that it was given to the Queen and then transmitted us the tradition
Okay.
to give it to
不知道
us.
那个羊的传说，但是呢，我就知道，因为当时他们觉得羊呢那个样子很英勇哈，所以呢，他们就用那个羊作为一个，就是带着去，人家就看到好像很勇敢的样子，但是不确定，他也不确定哈。
I will say one more thing interesting is that here at the Citadel, you have the second official residence of the Governor General of Canada representing the Queen. So normally the residence is in Ottawa, the official residence, Ottawa. But we also have one here at the Citadel. So the Governor General can come here at his leisure, and the house is also open to the public.
OK， 一般来说呢，那些最高的指挥人员呢，都在我们的首都 Ottawa。但是呢，在这边他们也会来这边住一下，也在这边坐镇指挥一下哈。
When we make our next stop, you're going to be able to see the river. You're going to have a beautiful view, and then we'll begin talking about.
或者是这边去到纽约 ，OK， 都是这样的行程。
Holland America Cruise Line is the one that comes most often. They come in May, June, until October. So Holland Cruise Lines, yes.
OK， 有一个荷兰的一个游船
Holland America, yeah. Sorry.
叫荷兰是美国的一个游船，他们在5月份到10月份都有很多的船来这边观光。
Now, let's go back to history and at the same time some geography. We are here on a natural cape, about 150 meters. It's not that high. You can see here the river. The ocean is in that direction. Montreal, behind you, if we continue here on the river. Now, the first European that came here was a Frenchman, Jacques Cartier.
OK，Cartier 呢是第一个欧洲的人来到这个地方。
He will come here in 1534, sent by King of France, Francis I, to find a passage to Asia, like all European countries were looking for it. And also, he was looking for precious stones and gold that they had found on the coast of Brazil, and they thought they could also find it here.
1554。
1534.
1534年 ，OK， 他来到这边，来到这个目的呢，就是把这里他们需要的东西运回去他们欧洲，或者呢是一直寻找去到亚洲的路哈。
You will arrive in the Gulf the day of St. Lawrence, August the 10th. So he will name the river St. Lawrence.
OK， 他 St. Lawrence again
August the 10th is the
August
day of
10th.
St. Lawrence. Yeah.
OK， 8月10号哈，圣罗伦斯
River.
Day.
对
Day,
，OK，
yes.
圣罗伦斯河的日子哈。
The mountains that we see further, he will call them the Laurentian Mountains, also in his honor. Now, when Jacques Cartier arrives here, he sees people with dark skin. He's absolutely convinced he's in the Indies, and that's why he will call them Indians.
OK， 那当卡地亚来到这边呢，看到那些人的皮肤很黑的，他们呢觉得他是印度来的，就叫他们是印度人哈。
So when he comes here, he's absolutely convinced that with the St. Lawrence River you could go to the Indies, but he will never go further than Montreal. So what he really discovered is that we have 6 months of snow in Quebec City.
OK， 他以为呢，在圣罗伦斯河呢，他可以去到印度，但是呢，是永远去不了那里。他来到这里，发现了什么？发现了这个地方有6个月的下雪天哈。
But it doesn't matter. He spent a very cold winter here, goes back to France and ready to come back. Because he saw that even though we had many months of snow, people could live from agriculture produced here. So he was ready to have a colony. But France will have other priorities. So that's why we'll have to wait until Henry IV, another king of France, sends Samuel de Champlain to find a Northwest Passage because they still believe it's here. And also to have here a fur trade post because furs are very fashionable in Europe.
在这边呢 ，OK， 那个卡地尔来到这边 ，OK， 虽然非常冷 ，OK， 但是呢，他觉得这个地方呢还是比较好 ，OK， 圣罗伦斯河的河道还可以寻找其他不同的他需要的东西，但是呢，当时他们没有把这个东西这个地方发展开来，直到另外一个 Champlain 来到这个地方 ，OK， 他发现呢，在这边呢有很多那些frame right 的
First.
what's first
Animal skin.
就是那些皮草哈是很赚钱的，所以呢就收集了皮草在这边运回他们的法国去哈。
Did you say PETA from the Organization Against Furs?
Peter
No, it's called PETA, P-E-T-A, but don't worry. Here we don't worry about that very much because furs are eco-friendly and they're very warm. But that said, Champlain will choose the site because there's the natural cape that gives us a good vision, but the river is also narrower here. So this is where it comes from the name Quebec. It's an Algonquin word from the Indians of this region that will be the allies of the French. That means where the river narrows. So Quebec, where the river narrows.
What kind of language?
Algonquin, the Indians,
Okay.
the Indians from here.
OK， 那么这里为什么叫魁北克呢？因为呢，魁北克它是一个印度人的语言哈，是一个河流很窄的河流，弯的河流哈，所以呢，这个地方就是圣罗伦斯河最窄的地方，所以改名叫做 OK， 这个叫做魁北克，就是那个河流最窄的地方的意思。
Jacques Cartier will be also the first one to use Canada. That comes also from the Algonquin language that means little village, many houses together.
OK， 那呢，加上加拿大呢，也是同样的语言，就说呢，小小的村庄的意思哈。
So the French, when they settle here then with Champlain, it's not a time of colonization. It's a time of exploration of the land and its exploitation. So the French, one characteristic, will go to the furs, when the British will wait for the furs to come to them. And the difference is that Champlain will go as far as Texas. I don't know if he'll go to Houston, but he'll go to Texas. And 7 years after arrival, he will find out that after the Great Lakes, it's impossible to go further. So the French were big explorers when they arrived here. And all the furs would come to Quebec City and then would leave for Europe. That's why this site was so important.
OK， 在这边呢 ，OK， 那个Champlain来到这边呢，就把这个陆地扩充，他一直走到去德州那边哈，走到德州那边，然后呢，把那里所需的物品加上很多的皮草呢，就运到来这边，做一个通输的一个渠道，在这个城市里面。
Champlain will die on Christmas Day, 1635.
1635。1635年，那个Champlain呢，就在圣诞节死了哈。
And I have to tell you, we don't know where his body is. We're still looking for him. We'll keep you posted.
但
We'll
是
let
他
you
们
know.
不知道死了那个尸体在哪里，没人找得到。
We know he was buried here. We know he's supposed to be here. But he was displaced. He was put somewhere else. And we don't know. That's the big mystery about Champlain. We know a lot about what he has done, but very little about himself. He learned 6 Indian languages, though, that we know. And he knew he needed them to travel. So the relationship between the French and the Indians were a very good relationship. And so afterwards, we have to wait for another king, Louis XIV, the Sun King, to make of this land a land of colonization. He has a goal to have more population to protect it better. Because then there's only 5,000 people living here and mostly men. Most of the women are nuns. So as we say here, that's not a way to make strong children. Huh? So the king will send women that were orphans, that lived in convents, that didn't have a dowry to get married in France. They were from good families, but no money to get married. So they had to have an education to educate their children, have many children, and endure the cold. So they will come to Quebec City first. The ones that couldn't find a husband will leave to Three Rivers, and after to Montreal. So you know what I'm going to say next. That the most beautiful girls are in Quebec City.
OK， 当时呢，在这边哈只有5000的人口 ，OK， 全部呢都是士兵，但是呢是没有女生在这边，因为发现这片土地，所以呢，路易14呢就派了 how many women 800个准备好传宗接代、良好教育的女士来到这边 ，OK， 结婚、传宗接代，把我们这个人口给扩张出来哈。
But the men were not in a rush to get married. So as you can see, nothing has changed. So we'll have to tell the men, if you don't get married in 2 weeks, you lose your license to hunt.
OK， 但是呢，虽然他送了800个女生来这边，但是呢，还是没有改变那些男生呢不急着结婚哈。但是他说你们是士兵，如果呢你们2个星期内不结婚的话，你们会没有那个枪的牌照，因为士兵呢最重要就是他的枪，没有枪就是没有工作，所以呢他规定2个星期之内你一定要结婚。
And they had to have 10 children minimum to get money from the king. But remember that then a lot of the children would not survive. So you had to ask for many. You had those clean and virgin lands to have them, and you needed them for labor, for agriculture. That will become one of the next activities. And I will continue by telling you, we had 6 months of snow. So half of my family was born in August.
OK， 但是呢，他们如果向政府拿钱呢，起码一个人也有10个小孩子哈。但是呢，不是这个城市不是那么容易生存，因为天气的问题，6个月的下雪天。
So that's how colonization began. And I have to tell you that these 800 women are responsible for almost half of the population of Quebec. And know that Angelina Jolie, Hillary Clinton, Madonna, Tom Bergeron from Dancing with the Stars are all originally from here, descendants of these daughters of the king. Ah, not bad, huh?
What the daughter?
The daughter of the kings, the ladies that came here to marry,
Yeah.
Are the ancestors of Hillary Clinton,
Even
Angelina Jolie, and Tom Bergeron, Dancing with the Stars, America's Funniest Videos, and also Madonna.
Madonna.
那么他说呢 ，OK， 其实我们的 Madonna 呢 ，Angelina 呢，他们都是在这魁北克的后代了哈，都是有这个血统。
Also Hillary Clinton.
Hillary Clinton too,
就是
strong women.
克林顿的女老婆哈。
Women here are very strong. You know that since 1981 we don't wear a husband's name.
1981年结了婚呢，也没有说把先生的名字放在后面做 last name。
Already then we were worried about equality between men and women. So it's not even a choice. We just don't wear it. And the children can wear both last names. Yes. Yes, they can wear their mother's name and their father's name in the order that the parents will decide. My son has my son's has my name first.
那呢，一般来说就是说呢，结了婚之后呢，他们就用先生的名字做他们的姓名。但是这里的女生很强，她不用她的名字做她的 last name。但是孩子呢，可以你选择是用谁，用妈妈还是爸爸的做他的姓哈。
So we're still think the only province in Canada where it's like that. No, it's not the only country because Spain, Portugal, many Latin countries do the same.
OK， 但是呢，在这边呢，加拿大只有我们魁北克是这样做哈，但是不等于其他国家哈，好像西班牙、拉丁那些国家都是用这种习惯。
We'll continue, but before